Hey everybody, and welcome back to Comic Book Versus. This is number 32, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember count-wise.
It's been a long time, and
We've done a lot of them.
by the time this gets released, it might actually have been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're like...
Are we releasing this on Friday? Is that...
Yeah, we're releasing this Friday. We've been so bad about releasing these.
We were ready to basically just get Season 3 done and record all of them when I got back from school in May, and of course that didn't happen.
Because we both decided, hey, let's get jobs and do stuff.
Let's get jobs and be working 40 plus hours a week. And of course our jobs didn't really overlap because when I got off work, your work went until really late. And then...
Yeah.
Oh well, enough with the excuses. We're back now. Season 3 will proceed as scheduled, because I think we both can probably work this out during the school year. But,
yeah, we could.
Anyways, this one, as you can see, is Black Widow versus Batgirl. And this is Barbara Gordon Batgirl and Natasha Romanoff, or Romanova, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, and I just want to say really quickly, before we go more into it, this is the New 52 Batgirl. This is the Marvel Now, whatever, modern Black Widow. A lot of people seem to forget that when they comment and stuff. They're like, no, this character will win because they did this. If that feat was before the New 52, really apply to the DC character, because it's a new universe, new interpretation, most likely, of that character, depending on the continuity, because it's iffy and stuff. But for the most part, unless it has happened in New 52, it doesn't really apply. And then also, someone commented about the fact that we don't use feats really, we use stats. Well, that's the point of our show.
And can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The first point you made is pretty much exactly why we don't use feats. It's because it's easy to say, oh, well, Superman got killed by Doomsday, but he came back to life because apparently Kryptonians have this whole healing coma thing and they can't die. Well, that's pre-New 52. And so everyone can get, especially with characters having as long histories as most comic book characters nowadays have, it's really easy to sort of not realize that, since the New 52 and a lot of the Marvel's actually recently changed some stuff up too, feats don't necessarily apply always, because comic books shift things around all the time. So,
Exactly.
So, we stick to facts, because generally, unless it's someone like Superman who changes every goddamn time and a writer touches him, he'll go to being able to lift 4 quadrillion tons to being, only able to leap tall buildings. But generally, the characters tend to at least stay the same. So, or as they don't change that much. So, that's why we do it. That's why we stick with facts.
So, White Sheep, you want to start?
I was going to take
Black
Natasha.
Widow.
I have Black Widow, and I'm fairly confident, so watch out.
Alright, go ahead.
Alright, so her real name is Natalia Romanova, or Natasha Romanoff, or whatever, or Black Widow, or whatever you want to call her. And her abilities are human strength, speed, agility, reflexes, senses, longevity, Josh. She's a master combatant, a marksman, a spy, and a strategist. And her equipment, we'll go more into this later, but she has the gauntlets that she wears around her wrist, her bodysuit, which is actually bulletproof, and we'll talk about that later too. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And various weapons, including guns!
You know what we should put for abilities?
Love that sound clip. What?
We should put sex appeal.
Yes.
Or the ability to sexually arrest anybody. Or not arrest, but take down.
Sexually arrested.
She just unzips a little bit more and the dude faints.
I don't think it's possible.
Too much sexiness.
She seems unzipped pretty much all the way. But, no, yeah, that's definitely... We'll talk about that, I feel, too, a little bit later in the matchup. It's the battle of the Ginger Ninjas. So...
The Ginger Ninja.
Ginger Ninjas. Alright, I guess so I'll get started with strength. Her stats, strength. She actually is a product of sort of, I guess, having, the Red Room's superhero,
Some derivative of the super soldier
Red Room's
serum.
super soldier serum. She has sort of almost the same as Captain America. It enhances her to peak human. And so her strength is a 3, which I believe is enhanced. She can lift 500 pounds, which makes me sad because I can't lift 500 pounds. Her speed is max 30 miles an hour. That's 3 bars or enhanced. But intelligence, and she has 4 bars, enhanced, speaks many, many languages. Yeah, multilingual. She's got a gifted intellect. She's on par with Captain America. She's very strategically and tactically intelligent, and that makes her extremely capable in battle. And she's also a talented hacker and an expert spy. You know, we don't really talk about it. We might get into this, but she's really, really freaking old. She's like 70, and she doesn't look 70. I'd hit that, and I can't say that for pretty much any other 70-year-old. 6 bars of fighting, and she's a master of many styles. She's proficient in karate, judo, aikido, savate, boxing, and lots of kung fu. And she'll look really good doing it, too. She'll kick your ass and probably turn you on a little bit. She'll break your dick. 3 bars, enhanced durability. And it's interesting, Josh is going to show you the slide for Batgirl. Can we just throw it up right now, just to show you by comparison?
Sure.
And it's 3 bars, but it's got the enhanced because of the Batgirl suit. Now, doing my own research, I have found that even though this is much more scantily, Black Widow is much more scantily clad than Batgirl is, and Batgirl looks like it would be a little more protective. Black Widow's suit is actually bulletproof. Yeah, it's highly resistant to damage and high temperatures. It's actually very durable, even though it doesn't look like that. And when you add that on to her enhanced durability, thanks to the Super Soldier Serum, I would argue that she's ahead of Batgirl in that respect as well, because Babs is like a normal person, pretty much, with a suit. Going down, energy. And this is another area where she really has Babs beat, is the fact that she does have some energy projections in the form of the Widow bites that her gauntlets can shoot. They aren't, they'll probably be very effective on, normal humans and maybe even Batgirl to some respects, but probably not against, the tougher threats that the Avengers and, S.H.I.E.L.D. typically face. And so now we move on to equipment. So some of her main equipments are, she's got her gauntlet, some of her main accoutrements, if you will. She's got gauntlets, which have, explosives, the electrical, and, Widow bite blasts, various gases, and a grappling hook, because every good superhero needs a grappling hook, as far as I'm concerned. She's got the bodysuit, which is bullet and heat resistant to extreme temperatures. And she also has various guns! I love that sound clip that we're inserting there. Thanks, Armin. But no, she's proficient in, she's a trained assassin. She's going to be proficient in a lot of weapons. And yeah, she's also an expert marksman. And that, to me, honestly, is the deciding factor. Well, I know what the deciding factor is. I'll get into that in a second. But that is another deciding factor, is that Barbara Gordon definitely does not have any guns, because that's against Batman's whole thing. But I think that's the solution, is Barbara's suit might be proficient at stopping, some small arms fire. But when you get into it, they're on par in fighting. Black Widow's stronger. Black Widow's faster. Black Widow is, maybe not smarter, but arguably more experienced. I mean, she is up there in age. She's been around the block several times. She's multilingual. She can speak to her in different languages while she's kicking her ass. And she has energy projection. And so and she's more durable, in my opinion, as I, discussed. But I think the edge here has got to be the fact that Natasha is a ballet dancer and a master seductress. So, she
gonna turn Batgirl lesbian?
I'm sure. I mean, she's running around basically doing the whole female Fight Club thing. Babs might be a little bushy already, but so I guess that's about it. I think Black Widow is stronger, faster, more durable, just as good at fighting, has more energy projection than Babs has, and, maybe not quite as smart, but definitely has the edge in experience. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Josh. Oh, and
okay.
she's a super soldier, so,
Okay. Well, getting the testosterone out of the way, I think Batgirl is the better choice. Mostly because I have something that White Sheep doesn't have, which is a Canadian on my side. You'll hear at the end of this, at the end of us talking, Joel, who is a massive supporter of Batgirl, he'll say his piece. Because if anybody knows anything about Batgirl, it will be Joel. So,
just let me say something. Canadians famously wishy-washy. Is it bacon or is it ham, guys? Come on. Character issues already.
Alright, well, anyways, real name is Barbara Gordon. Abilities, athletic, physical abilities. She's not peak human, but she is very athletic. Genius intellect, master combatant, strategist, skilled acrobat, and detective. Now, I will just admit this out there because someone's bound to bring this up. In New 52, Barbara Gordon was paralyzed for a while, but she recovered from that. Something regarding putting a chip in her brain, allowing her to regain that ability. Stop laughing at a white sheep.
She was paralyzed, but she just one day decided to suck it up and start walking again. 'Cause fuck logic. It's that, yeah, the your spinal cord was severed, but, whatever. You don't need that.
Equipment is the Batgirl suit, utility belt, batarangs, and various other gadgets. Let's get into her stats now. Strength, she can lift a max of 200 pounds, so yes, she's not as strong as Black Widow.
Is that a max? Like she does one bench max?
That's her one rep max.
That's probably what I'm at right now, so, whatever.
Her speed is considered normal. The problem with her physical abilities is that she really couldn't ever be truly peak human because of her back injury. So that will always be lingering on there, and she's probably always cautious about that. Intelligence, she's a genius, very, very smart. Her and Tim Drake are considered among the Bat family to be the two smartest members, besides obviously Batman. So when they need information, they usually turn to either one of them. Also, she's really smart in scientific fields as well. Fighting, she's a master of many martial arts. A lot of that is due to in the New 52, she started martial arts training at a young age due to the fact that, she lives in Gotham City. That makes a lot of sense. Wheelchair full! Durability, her max is enhanced due to the Batgirl suit. Now, it's debatable her durability might be a little bit less in some areas than it should be due to the fact that she did have her back injury. So, like I said earlier in this video, that's always going to be lingering in the back of her mind, and subconsciously she's going to be doing things in a fight that would protect it a little bit, because obviously she doesn't want her back broken again, because she just kind of got her ability to move her back. So that's the durability with the suit. I'll go more into it in the equipment portion of this video, and energy she has none. So let's move on to equipment. Her equipment is the Batgirl suit. It's very impact resistant and fire retardant. Nope, I didn't put bulletproof, because while Batman's suit is bullet resistant or bulletproof and Nightwing's is too, Batgirl, like Red Hood, they're one of the members of the Batman family that aren't very involved with Batman, so they don't really get all of the perks that comes with it. So a lot of Batgirl stuff is a product or a byproduct of her own doing. Like, she's very smart, so she can make these things, but at the same time, it's not the same quality as, a multi-billionaire would be able to get. Her suit, just like Nightwing's suit, just like a lot of the non-superhuman powered superheroes, a lot of their suits are made to take a lot of the brute force that they get from being punched. Because no matter how good of a fighter you are, one day you will get hit, and you need to be able to take that hit. So while the suit isn't made for bullets, let's say, it's made for more like punches and things like that. Because the first thing Batgirl really does in a fight is she disarms her opponent, and then, she gets on to the brawling. So that's kind of explanation of her suit there. And then we go to her utility belt, which is very universal among members of the Bat family, because they always want to be prepared. And we get batarangs. She has various pellets, like gas pellets, things like that. If she needs to get out of a situation or distract an enemy, she has a pellet for that, pretty much. The grappling hook, because all superheroes must have a grappling hook. And then various other gadgets that she might need. Basically, if the situation demands it and she can prepare for it, which most likely she would prepare for it. I guess to put it, just to get it out of the way now, unlike most Bat family members, like Batman obviously prepares, Nightwing doesn't prepare all that much, Tim Drake prepares a lot, but Batgirl prepares, if not as much as Batman, maybe even more, because of the fact that she's always going to have in the back of her mind her back injury, so she wants to make sure that she has that under control, like the situation under control and things like that.
But honestly, that could be her
weakness.
Her weakness. It's because it's one of those things where there's a quote in First Class, X-Men First Class. Magneto says, essentially, if you've got, if you're concentrating half on something else, that's only, you're only paying attention half as much to, the world around you, pretty much. So if she's focusing even a little bit on that back, she's losing some of her focus for the world around her, and that probably could be fatal in a battle against the Black Widow. Someone that brings as much to the table as Black Widow does.
Well, since I guess just to say my piece on it, because we still have Joel's stuff to air. But the reason I think Barbara Gordon would win, and alright, a lot of people have called me on the fact that I usually do a devil's advocate thing, and I guess supposedly whenever I do that, a Marvel character seems to like win the matchup, so to speak. So I'm gonna stay as much as I can to defending Batgirl and not defending Black Widow in any way. So the reason why I think Barbara Gordon wins, despite the fact that she has her broken back, she's much smarter than Black Widow is. Like, sure, Black Widow has, the gifted genetic intellect, whatever, with the super soldier serum, to be smarter. She doesn't. It's just like how Batman is smarter than Captain America, just because of the amount of studying and etc. So I think that comes to play in there. Batgirl could devise a plan due to the fact that she's still been around the block with a lot of villains, and Gotham has probably, in my opinion, one of the most creative amounts of villains. Like, these villains are insane, and they go up against someone like Batman. So you have to be very, very smart. You have to be able to really do unthought of things to really get to Batman, or at least catch Batman off guard, which a lot of villains in Gotham do from time to time. And Barbara Gordon fights those villains too. So I think Barbara Gordon, she could take anything Black Widow could send at her, if not plan things that Black Widow wouldn't think of, or be prepared for. Also, unlike Black Widow, Batgirl recognizes the fact that she's not superhuman, and she wears a kind of armor with her suit. So while Black Widow can have her boobies all hanging out, Batgirl is going to be laughing at the end of the day when a batarang goes through Black Widow's chest, and Black Widow has tri-boobies.
Let me just respond to that real quick before we roll Joel's clip. And yes, she does have a very revealing costume, but the suit itself is probably more durable than, it's actually, reading what I've read, is more durable than Batgirl's armor, somehow. Because it can resist small arms fire, and it's heat resistant and stuff like that. So, it's the boobs, it is. But,
that booty.
That ass. But no, it's, to get back to my point.
This is why we don't do women matchups that much.
Basically, this is why we get distracted.
Because every comic book character that's a girl over 18 in comics is heavily sexualized.
Power Girl.
Gamera.
Still my favorite. But no, essentially, Josh has been trying to liken Batgirl to Batman. But it's important for you all to remember that she isn't Batman. She's not. She's not as smart as Batman. She's not as strong or as fast as Batman. If this was Batman versus Black Widow, Batman would win. Because Batman's stronger and smarter. By far. But this isn't quite as far on intelligence as, as it would seem. It's, Black Widow is a gifted intellect, and yes, Batgirl is a genius. But I think when you look at the experience, Black Widow has been around for 70 years. She was raised to be an assassin. Batgirl, wasn't necessarily raised to be Batgirl. It's, you could make whatever claims you want. She was raised to fight crime or whatever. But pretty much everything I remember is Jim Gordon wanted to keep her away from fighting crime. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, Batgirl isn't Batman. And Black Widow is statistically stronger and has more experience and is more durable. And so, that's all I have to say about that. I think Black Widow, definitely when you look at the stats, rather than just, looking at, Batgirl was trained by Batman, then I think Black Widow wins. And roll clip.
So, Barbara Gordon is technically the second Batgirl, the first one being the Golden Age Betty Kane, who I'm actually pretty sure isn't around anymore during the New 52. She is the daughter of Police Commissioner Gordon, and from a very young age she was always used to pushing herself to succeed, to live up to the standards of her pretty famous father. This, of course, meant excelling in stuff like ballet, and especially gymnastics. She's, a matter of fact, she's an Olympic-level gymnast, and you can see that very much in her fighting style. Of course, having a cop for a father in pretty much the worst city in the world means that she is very proficient in many different kinds of martial arts. She holds a black belt in all different sorts of self-defense. All this training would be put to great use when she caught the eye of Batman, and would end up joining his war on crime. One of the great things about Barbara is that she's been shown to be able to take down opponents twice her size, like Mirror and Harry X, to name a few. She did this by making great use of a lot of advanced lock and pressure point strikes. She's also incredibly fast and nimble, able to keep up jumping from rooftop to rooftop with the likes of Nightwing and the Birds of Prey. She's also no stranger to taking on incredibly large groups of armed combatants and being able to take them all down single-handedly. But perhaps Barbara's greatest skill is just how tech-savvy she is, being able to hack the GCPD computers and pretty much any computer she wants whenever she wants. This made great sense because in her old 52 counterpart, after losing the use of her legs, she ended up becoming the superhero info broker known as Oracle. Now, in the new continuity, she still maintains a lot of that same intelligence and all of that same tech savvy. I should also talk about Batgirl's suit, which, again, like most of the Batman suits, is something of a technological marvel, complete with shock-absorbing plates that assist in combat. Batgirl can also make use of her motorcycle, which is such an awesome shade of purple. She uses this to patrol the city, and, she can drive it into you if she's got to. Then, of course, there's the standard issue classic Bat Family utility belt, complete with all the different gadgets, batarangs, grappling hooks, smoke bombs, all that good stuff for fighting crime in Gotham. Now, in the New 52, Barbara is still getting over the events of being shot in the spine during Killing Joke, one of the few things the New 52 actually didn't go out of their way to change. Because of this, it's been stated that if Barbara overexerts herself, she could very well end up back in the chair again. Not that she takes doctors' advice very seriously, because we see her pushing herself harder and harder, and nothing has happened yet. We've also sort of seen the psychological scars from this event show up, with Barbara really flying into berserk rages more and more down, beating opponents really half to death. This makes her incredibly dangerous, but perhaps even more so, this makes her unpredictable, something that really would work in her favor in a fight.